Okay, so what's the one thing pretty much every athlete on the planet wants? It's simple, right? To get faster. It's the one thing that can change a game, a season, or even a whole career. But what if the way most of us think about building speed is just, well, wrong? Let's break down where that game day speed really comes from.
It's a pretty simple question, but man, it gets right to the heart of a huge misconception in training. If just running more and more was the secret sauce, then the athlete on the left would be dominating the sport of the athlete on the right. But they're not. So what's really going on here?
This brings us to what you could call the runner's dilemma. Because running feels so natural, the common wisdom is, hey, if you want to run faster, just run more. And so many athletes fall into this trap. They grind out miles and miles, thinking they're building speed, when really they might just be spinning their wheels and honestly just getting their bodies closer to a breakdown.
Now let's look at what elite speed actually looks like in the wild. When you watch a guy like running back Kenneth Walker III, it's so easy to just slap the label fast on him. But that word, it doesn't even begin to tell the whole story. What we're seeing isn't just legs moving quickly, it's an incredible, almost violent display of power. So let's break that down. What actually makes this kind of running so ridiculously effective? First, notice how calm and efficient it is. There's no flailing around, no wasted steps. He stays balanced even when he's getting hit. He explodes out of his cuts. And those legs, they just never stop driving forward. This is a skill set that's built on something way deeper than just cardio. To really get this, we need a totally different way of thinking. So let's use a metaphor that I think really works. Your body isn't just a runner. It's a high-performance vehicle.
On one side, you've got the gas pedal. This is your running, your conditioning, your sheer effort. You can always try to push that gas pedal harder. But here's the thing. If you're trying to floor it with a tiny little engine, you're not going to go much faster and you're probably going to break down. A bigger, stronger engine, that's what really increases your top speed and your overall efficiency.
And this right here is the real payoff. Strength isn't just about being quicker for one single play. It's about making your movement more efficient, so you waste less energy. It makes you more reliable, so you can show up play after play. And it makes you way more durable, so you can handle the grind of a game and a whole season. Okay, so we're all on board. We need to build a bigger engine. The next logical question is, where is it? Where does this usable, game-changing power actually come from in the body?
The answer is right here. Your hips are basically the command center for all athletic movement. They're like the bridge that takes the force you generate from pushing off the ground and transfers it up through your body and into forward motion. If you have weak hips, that force just fizzles out. Strong hips mean that force gets used.
So how do you build up that command center? Well, it all starts with these big, foundational, powerful movements. We're talking about deadlifts, squats, and lunges. And look, these are not just leg day exercises. These are the movements that teach your entire body how to produce, control, and redirect massive amounts of force, which, let's be honest, is exactly what's happening on every single play of a game.
But look, having a huge engine is only part of the story. It's totally useless if you can't get that power to the wheels, like right now. Raw strength is only half the equation. The other half is how fast you can use it. This is the absolute key. In a game, you don't get a few seconds to gather yourself and push. You have fractions of a second. The ability to call on all your strength almost instantly, that is what we call power. And power is what separates a strong athlete from a truly explosive one.
And you train for that explosiveness with movements that demand speed. Things like box jumps, jump lunges, and yeah, the more technical Olympic lifts like cleans and snatches. These exercises teach your central nervous system to fire on all cylinders, turning that deep well of strength into blistering, usable speed. So when we combine that foundational strength with that explosive power, we get the thing we're all chasing, game speed. And let's be clear, this isn't just about running fast in a straight line. It's the ability to produce force quickly, but with absolute control. That's the difference between a track athlete and a game breaker.
This brings us to the ultimate test, the game itself. Why is this strength-based approach so critical for what actually happens on the field or the court or wherever you play?
I mean, think about it. When you're just out for a run, the whole environment is pretty controlled. The ground is flat, you're moving in a straight line, there are no real surprises. It's a predictable activity.
But games? Games are the polar opposite. They are pure chaos. They demand sudden stops, violent changes of direction, and absorbing contact from all sorts of awkward angles. A body that's only been trained for predictable running it's not ready for that reality.
And this is where we have to bust that huge old-school myth. The idea that lifting weights makes you slow and muscle-bound is just plain wrong. In reality, a strong, well-trained body gives your speed a stable structure to operate from. It provides the stability to cut without losing power and the resilience to absorb a big hit and just keep on going. It all comes down to a really simple three-step process. First, you build foundational strength. That's what turns your effort into actual measurable output. Second, you train for power, to convert all that strength into speed. And third, that combination, that right there, is how you build true, game-dominating speed.
So, if there's just one thing to take away from all this, let it be this. The path to becoming a faster, more effective athlete isn't always about adding more miles. It's about going back to the source. It's about building a more powerful, more efficient, and more durable engine. That is the real secret to unlocking your speed.